So for you, where you are located is inherently part of your position as a brewery.
Right, that's correct. Yeah.
Could you elaborate on that?
Sure. So the brewery, as we speak, in Burgdorf, which is part of the Emmental, which many of you might know from the famous cheese, obviously the Emmentaler. So the Emmental is indeed let's say a region, not politically defined, but a region that is made up of a lot of valleys, hence the Tal, and the Emme is the river that flows through it, and Burgdorf is part of it and has a really historical connection to fermentation, be it cheese making for instance, or other odds and bits fermented foods or whatever, or sausages. So there is an inherent culture about fermentation already here. So why is this important for us? So for us it is important in a way because we are the only brewery in Switzerland, as far as I know, that is really working with the local yeast culture, meaning we collected, harvested.
You?
Yes.
You can say it. You
yes.
can be proud of that. You did that.
Yeah.
You went out there?
Yes, exactly. So we really isolated different yeast strains over the years, different sources, be it trees, fruits, mosses, even dirt in certain cases, and just try to see what we could isolate from these kind of sources, cultivate them individually, do some purifications on them, meaning we have pure strains, and then just check them in terms of fermentation, let's say, performance, and then just decided on which strains you want to go for in terms of the sensory profile they can produce, and then just started to pull all the, let's say, the golden strains that we isolated, and just gradually built up a huge yeast culture over the years, which really is used for all the beers that we currently do, really from A to Z.
So the blend gives you a signature.
Exactly, as well. Obviously, because the yeast is, in my opinion, the most important ingredient, which is sometimes overlooked. But I still believe that basically yeast defines the beers you make, meaning it gives you a specific fingerprint, and you can basically do or make a lot of different beers out of one base with different yeasts. Hence, the yeast has a huge impact. And as I said, we do all our beers with one single yeast strain or blend, and we can have a huge diversity of flavors. So we are not really limited in that perspective, but indeed it gives us a really specific local fingerprint, which is, I would say, it's somehow close to the concept of terroir, although I wouldn't really say that the beer is only driven by, let's say, the yeast terroir idea, as other ingredients also have an impact on the beer as well, which we also try to source locally, meaning we only use, let's say, cereals apart from barley at this point, which is locally grown, so within an area of 20 kilometers, and also processed in this region. Second of all, hops are only from, at the moment, mainland Europe, if we can get it in organic quality, because again we think this is the only way forward, and I don't really see why we should not use hops, for instance, more local hops, as far as they can give you in terms of, they also have a good quality and give you distinctive flavors, and hence I'm not really reliant on other sources which are have to be flown in or by a boat or whatever, which I again don't really see why I should actually support this idea.
Which is one aspect of having a local product,
right,
using local ingredients.
Exactly. So the local, let's say, the local ideology is not only stopping there, it's also about sustainability. Again, I also strongly believe that sustainability is an important aspect, especially if we say we have to rely on our nature and surrounding to make our beers as they are. Why shouldn't we also take care of this environment? Because if we basically destroy it, we lose our ground to actually make what is inherently us in the end, right? So that's somehow linked, in my opinion.
So you're basically trying to preserve the character
right?
Of the local ingredients
Right.
instead of working against that in the sense of sourcing.
Exactly.
As a first example.
Yeah, because I also strongly believe, because we can make the decision what ingredients we want to have or we want to use. So if you say we only buy, let's say, organic grown material, then we basically make this decision. And if you find a source that can distribute that or basically, well, make it available for you, then that's basically our choice. So we have the choice in this case.